Jamie, very few people giving Japan a chance. How do you ensure there's no complacency?
I think we've set about that this week. Really, we set the stall out earlier in the week in terms of the meetings that we had, the review of the game list, and we were hugely positive around the performance that we put out there last weekend. This 8-day turnaround's allowed us a little bit more time to get the body right, and then also a little bit more time to sort of review and preview. In terms of the complacency, like the performance last weekend was just the start. It's just the foundation of what we want to try and build on. If we're going to win a World Cup, which is what we're here to do, we know that we're going to have to kick on from where we were. And yeah, that's been the main focus for us this week. I think there's some huge threats coming out of the Japanese team. We're aware that they're a very good side. It's great to be able to have Steve, to have his insight into the players that they have in particular. And yeah, we're very aware that we know our opposition really well, and we're also aware that we need to put our game on the field tomorrow evening.
They're not the Japan of old, but are they still capable of an upset?
Absolutely. You look at their record at World Cups, they've been absolutely fantastic and a brilliant team to watch over the last 8 years. And we're very aware of that. From what we've seen, they're a great side. If you look at some of their games against Tier 1 teams, you know, they run a lot of them close, and you know, have had some good victories themselves also. So they're a very well coached team. They've still got some great players, and yeah, the focus for us this week has been making sure that we try and kick on with our game and build on the good foundations we put out there in terms of the character and fight we showed last weekend.
Tom, how pleased were you with how the scrum went against Argentina? You've got Carl Simpson and Joe Marley coming in this time. How does that change things?
Yeah, look, I think we had some good processes against Argentina, and we stuck to what we said we were going to do. But Jamie was excellent in the middle and leading that. He'll play that well again this week. It'll be a different challenge for us. We've selected a team that we think is right for this match. I'm sure Japan, I know they've spoken about them having a smart plan this weekend, will want to come and scrummage, so there'll be a good contest there for us.
Our fans played a big role in Marseille, didn't they? How inspiring is that? You've got a message for them, maybe the ones who've travelled over this game as well, you hope the same atmosphere?
I think we've seen with England fans at major tournaments across all sports, not just rugby, but across all sports, how amazing they are in terms of their support, their noise, and how much they get behind their teams. And last week was exactly that. You know, I remember looking at the crowd and seeing the pride and passion in their faces, and you know, they were screaming at full volume. And you know, as players, we appreciate that. As players, we actually love it when the fans bring that energy, that passion to the game, and it definitely gives us an extra spring in our step.
Jamie, when the scrum is working like that, as a front row, you can tell when certain feelings of the day it's going to go well, or certain things.
You generally know on first engagement, really, to be honest. Obviously, no two scrums are the same, but look, we're really happy with where our scrum's at. We worked really hard. Tom works us too hard at times. No, we love it. All good English teams need to be based around a solid and dominant set piece, and that's been a major focus for us. And we felt really good against Argentina. I thought Coley was outstanding, as was Ellis, and the guys that came on too did a really good job. And you know, we're hoping to just, again, like I said before, this is just the start for us as a scrum. Japan have a really good, efficient scrum. We want to make sure that we try and find dominance in that area, and it's something that's been a big focus for us this week.
And in every World Cup, there's one or two teams that build all the way through, and that's, I suppose, where you want to be, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think we reflect back 4 years ago. That's kind of what we did in Japan, and you know, there are a lot of. It's funny, you know, we're the worst team in the world 2 weeks ago. Suddenly, we're the best team in the world. It's quite funny how that can change in 2 weeks' time. But you know, I think for us, you know, we're certainly not getting ahead of ourselves. We don't believe all the hype around us, much like we didn't believe all the criticism that was coming our way previously. It's just for us about making sure that we make the most out of every day. We're very clear about what each training day looks like and what we need to get out of it. And I think the leadership of the team from the top down, from the coaches to the players, has been excellent, and we're never as far ahead of ourselves as we try and think we are. And yeah, it's been the feeling in the group's been great, and like you say, we just want to build throughout the tournament now.
And Maro, in terms of the line-out, that's been in many ways going well for a good while, but further it's coming to another level as well now.
Yeah, similar to the scrum really, we're happy with where we are. We're not content though. We still feel there's loads of improvement. Even last week we won all our ball, but it wasn't the delivery wasn't as tidy as we would have liked. So there's definitely areas to improve. Even with our maul was solid, but probably not as dominant as we would like. So again, another area for us to take a step forward.
Is it quite a good place to be though, when you've been comfortable where you are? You can also see growth within that as well, in the tournament.
Well, yeah, I think we're again, we are where we are. It's I don't think it's necessarily neither good or bad. It's just where we are, and no matter where you are, there's always another level to get to, and that's the level that we're trying to get to.
Last week we were very impressive in defense, but do you think it can be more difficult to defend against Japan with players who run everywhere, who attack everywhere?
Japan have a very different style to Argentina, who we played last week. Obviously, they move the ball a lot more, and they are very impressive with how they play and the spirit and energy they play. That presents opportunities. That presents, it also presents challenges for us. So for us, I think we're excited by the opportunity and to defend against perhaps a slightly different way of attacking and hopefully impose our game on them. But obviously it's something that we're going to need to be conscious of.
Tom, question from Kyle.
Yes.
Last World Cup, probably considered him one of the premier tight ends in the world. He's obviously had injury issues since then. I think last week he said he had work to do on scrumming or something to that effect. Do you think he can get back to that level at this World Cup?
100%. I would say it's not far off it. I think you go back, it's 4 years ago. If these players I'm sitting next to, the players in our change room, in our squad have got better in 4 years' time. And I've been really impressed with how Kyle has pushed himself to get better.
I know you have worked with him through all that period, but what sort of growth have you seen in his game, and how is it different?
I think he's refinding his aggression. He's refinding his ability, especially when he gets his hands on the ball. He's got a point of difference there.
Do you want an angry Kyle?
An angry but controlled.
Martin? A quick one to Jamie. Just wondering how much playback you got for your cricketing list. There's some members of backroom staff who are furious at their initial.
Yeah, well, listen, if they want to put their hand up for selection, then they need to have a talk to the captain. I picked the team, and for me, there is no one in the backroom staff that gets anywhere near our starting 11.
Just sort of semi-serious question. I know there's quite a bit of competitive tension around the paddle tournament, and there's some golf going on. And overall, how important is it to have that release away from rugby, and how relaxed, how easy is it to be relaxed in this environment, maybe compared to previous ones you've been involved in?
Yeah, I think it's again, we take all we can away from the last World Cup, and what we did really well was being able to get away from it all. Rugby can be quite, all-encompassing, and the pressures of a World Cup are high, and I think we're really lucky to be based in the 2K. The people of the 2K have been so kind to us, and being able to get out and play golf or play paddle tennis. I've organised a paddle tournament next week, staff and players. So Tim's playing, he'll probably go out in the first round, but it's important, and it's also important for us as a team to get together and enjoying each other's company. Myself and Mara come from a team that's in Saracens that really see the importance of how close you are off the field brings you tighter on the field, and there are a lot of other guys within the group from other clubs as well that believe in that, and you know, Steve is a big believer in that, the coach is a big believer in that, and you know, we want to make sure that, you know, we enjoy ourselves while we're out here, we embrace the French culture and get the competitive juices flowing in other ways, I suppose.
Just on the back of that, did you see the rugby team, the cricket team today?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
With an injured Jason Roy at fullback.
He was on the wing, I think. Butler at fullback. Yeah, I'm impressed with their team. I've heard Jason Roy was a bit of a player back in the day. I've spoken to Johnny Bairstow, fancies himself at 10. I'm not sure about Joe Root at hooker. I'm not convinced he's going to enjoy things up front, but you know, he's a tough Yorkshireman, so maybe he'd be all right. He's skillful enough to throw it in, I suppose. So yeah, maybe we'll meet up one day for a throwing session.
Just to think a bit more serious, again, to both of the players, again, you played fantastically well as a team last week. You didn't score any tries, but you scored 27 points, and it's about points. Does it matter to you as a group how you win, or is it the only thing that matters is that you win?
For me, it's by any means necessary. I don't obviously would like to score tries and, you know, score loads of tries, but for me, it's by any means necessary. As long as we get the win, every game is different. Every game is going to present different challenges, and I think the task is to find ways to get on the positive side of the result.
You got the same view?
Yeah, I have the same view. I think the only thing I'd add is like great English teams that I've watched growing up and that I've been a part of base their game around great defence, great set piece, and as long as we're doing that, I think our attacking game flows off the back of it. And you know, we're a team that has a big intention to move the ball. Richard Wigglesworth's a brilliant coach. George Ford and Alex Mitchell are driving us around beautifully. We've got players who can do special things. So I think, you know, like I say, you've just seen the start of us so far in this tournament, and you know, we're going to look to build, and you know, hopefully you'll see plenty of different ways of us scoring points over the course of the tournament.
So, question to Marlo. Japan, as you mentioned before in your answer, Japan have a very quick ball carrying, and how do you hope to respond to that?
Well, as with any team, but you know, particularly with the opposition that we're playing this weekend, the aim, the objective for us, for our team, both as individuals and as a collective, is to impose our game on them. We know they move the ball. We know they're a very clever team and come up with very clever plays. However, the goal, the task is to enforce the English style of rugby on this game. So you know, we want them to throw their best hand, and we want to defend it well. We want to impose our physicality. We want to, you know, to get into our set piece game, etc. And when the opportunity is right, our generals will fire us in attack. So yes, they move the ball, but it's all about us imposing our will on them.
George Hughes has mentioned that you are the best player that he has ever came across. So what comes
Sorry, but did he involve me in that? Are you sure he wasn't talking about me? Is that right? I've known George since I was 18. It's rubbish.
I gave George some money this week, so
Yeah.
can you just tell us what you are learning from him?
Oh no, you know, George, you know, I've played with George since I came to Saracens. He's had a big influence on my career. You know, we've had a lot of success playing with each other, and I've learned a lot from him then, and now working with him a bit more as, I guess, as a coaching capacity. He's been brilliant. You know, he's a smart individual, brilliant line-out mind, and he's been good for me, challenging me on certain things, and I've been picking his brains on certain things as well. So he's been great.
And just a quick question to Tom about Japan has been strengthening its scrum as a key point at the moment. And how do you see Japan's scrum from your point of view, such as like looking at the game between like Japan and
Yeah, look, I think Jamie spoke about it earlier, that they're a smart scrum and they're efficient. I think when you've got Gu in the front row, they're definitely not an area where they're weak. So it's going to be a huge contest for us. And it's clear that they've been working on it since we last played against them.
Last week we fought Argentina, nobody in your country believed in you. Do you think, have you got the feeling the opinion has changed since your victory in Argentina? And is it easier for you to work with this new atmosphere around the team?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, I think there were a lot of people that did believe in what we were doing. There was a lot of outside noise and a lot of negativity after the Fiji game, and I think probably rightly so. But at the same time, like Mara's alluded to, we're at a major tournament. The English community generally gets behind the team, or always gets behind the team whenever we're in big tournaments, and that's one special thing. We feel that, we feed off that, and we love the fact that, as Mara said, seeing fans in the stands, how much it means to them, that just is fuel to the fire with us. But it's not necessarily just the people in the stands, it's the messages that we're getting from back home, messages that I've had this week from friends and family saying how much it means, not just necessarily the result, but the way that we went about it. I think English teams should be about, how much we're willing to fight for each other and how much showing what playing for England means to us. And I spoke about that the night before the game, and I said that we shouldn't ever shy away from that. We shouldn't shy away from being, showing how proud we are to be here. For some of us, this might be our last major tournament, and we don't want to have any regrets coming away from this. And I think it's important. I've spoken about it before, and I'll keep speaking about it. The engagement that we have with the fans and people back home means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the team. So, the more that we can show that, give them things to shout about, give them things to be proud of, the better.
Thanks very much.
Arigato gozaimasu.